So they say that everyone has important days in their lives. And whether it's a day that you know is important or one that you look back on and see as important, it depends. But this is one of those days that I know is important. See, Identity Revealed has finally gone live. Now, admittedly, this book launch hasn't gone exactly as planned. Oh, none of them ever do, but each time I do learn more. And this is my first time working with Ingram Spark for a full-length novel that I want to make sure the professional standards are such that I can potentially get it into bookstores and into libraries and such like that. So a delay of a couple weeks, that's okay. And I really didn't want to, you know, postpone the release further after I'd already told my readers when they could expect it. But this is a huge day, and I am incredibly excited about it because, oh my goodness, it has been a very long time coming. And I have so many thoughts that are going through my head right now. I'm trying to catch them all. So this will probably be a little bit sentimental and mushy, and there may be some tears. But it's here, and it's an absolute delight to realize, well, it's a bittersweet delight in all honesty. There's an oddness. The manuscript is done completely, obviously. The rest of the tasks that need to be completed for the launch are really quite small and relatively easy to check off the to-do list. Some of them just require waiting a few days. But the manuscript's done. I have rewritten Identity Revealed 29 times. And I don't mean just tweaking the words or revising little bits here and there. I'm talking about complete and total rewrites where whole sections are removed, characters are added, some are removed. There are a few characters who are no longer here, who were in some of the early versions. They may come back later though. And this has just been such a huge part of my life. I have been working on this series since I was a little kid, just learning how to write, how to tell a good story. You know, The Hobbit was the story that really kicked this off. It was the first time I ever read a novel, and it captivated me. It transported me to this completely different world, and I fell in love. And then when I finally got to read Lord of the Rings, my grandfather made that a little bit difficult because, well, he had some other goals, and it did work out fine, but it took a lot longer. When I finally found Lord of the Rings, I fell in love with that as well. And then I wanted to write an epic, and that just expanded the story that I was working on. And so I grew up writing Identity Revealed. I've been working on it for over 25 years. Actually, 26 and some months. I think the math's right there. I have to double check it. I keep forgetting how old I actually am. But anyway, it has been a long time. I've worked on it daily. In fact, there were a few years when I was really trying to work on getting it traditionally published that I rewrote it multiple times within a year. But for the most part, I've rewritten it once a year, almost every year of my life. And I'm not going to do that anymore. The next time I rewrite Identity Revealed, it'll be for a screenplay. And I have a lot more stories to tell. But there is something a little bittersweet about saying goodbye. And I am so incredibly blessed to have the people involved who I do. Because while I've had a lot of individuals who have worked quite hard to destroy, I've had others who worked incredibly hard to build and to encourage. I think probably the best part of this was getting to write the thanks and acknowledgement section, which is almost 3,000 words long, or actually I think it's over 3,000 words. It's a long section because there are some absolutely amazing people. I mean, my family, my friends, and the professionals who I ended up encountering who became my friends, who assisted me with this. I mean, wow. And so, obviously, this has created a lot of memories and a lot of walks down those lanes, and, you know, some of them are bittersweet, not being able to finish. Identity revealed before my grandfather passed away is hard. But in fairness, that was a few years ago when I wasn't anywhere close to it truly being done. There were things that needed to be fixed. And other memories are funny, such as my mother, who is one of the sweetest women who I have ever met, probably the sweetest and kindest. And she hates scary stories. Hates them. Doesn't like anything where there are strange monsters. She doesn't like stories where people hurt others, particularly bad people. And it was so funny because she's still not funny, but it was incredibly kind of her. She offered to proof it for me, particularly when I was it was right about when I was 15 or 16, and I was trying again to get it represented. I wanted to publish it, and I told her, like, Mom, there's a lot of deaths in here. She's like, it's okay, I love you and I'll read it. And so she went through it, and from time to time she would call me over, or she's hilarious. But the funniest one was probably when she got to the end of what is now chapter, I think it's 27, and I hear, Jessica Marie Butler, get over here and explain this. And I had to explain why I made certain choices in the story, but she's always been a very passionate advocate for every character to live, no matter how bad they are. She will make sure that they all have tea and there will be good times for everyone. Everyone can get along. So, you know, and I had my father who was consistently pushing me to be better, aggravated me so much because I wanted him to just tell me I was a great author and then adore everything I wrote, and he didn't do that. And I remember there was one time when I got so aggravated because he asked me, why does it have to be a dragon? And I was standing on the stairs like, why can't it be a dragon? I love dragons. Dragons are amazing. And then my mom came and she explained, you need to have a reason. That's what your dad's asking you to do. Have a reason for the dragon being the one to attack. Why do they have dragons in this world and not say something else, something completely fictional? And so having that is a huge blessing. And I actually want to go through, I think I might go ahead and just do videos where I get to talk about the contribution that other people have made in this, because it feels so solitary sometimes, and yet, while the actual act, I suppose, of this creation is done in isolation, at the same time, there are people involved who inspire, drive us, encourage, sometimes even discourage, but we turn it into fuel, and they're all part of that story's creation. So I have a great deal to be grateful for. Finding an amazing editor. Do you know how hard that is? I've gone through some very bad editors, and I was so grateful to find Mary Iamandi, who didn't just proof or edit, as you know, depending on the job. She actually got involved in it and helped me to trust her, and it was absolutely wonderful. Hi, Loki. Oh, are you going to join the video? Come here. So ultimately, There were a lot of wonderful people involved, and I'm incredibly blessed. So this is going to be a day of a lot of contemplation and thought. And in case anyone's wondering, this is Loki, my baby. So thank you so much, and I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day. I will talk to you later. Let's see, how do I get to the button? And you just want to be snuggled. Hold on. Oh yes, who's my good